Jared Kung, also of 17 Lee Terrace. The theme of my statement tonight is facts over fear. The Township Committee has repeatedly engaged in fear-mongering. It's not clear if they're being misled by Buzak or if they're trying to discourage civic participation. I sincerely hope that it's the former. You can see their attempt to terrify residents in their press release, prominently promulgating Fair Share Housing's litigants' rights motion. The fact is, this is just a motion. Fair Share can file for whatever it wants. It does not mean that it will pass, and it will not be adjudicated on until after the final compliance hearing. Speaking with residents across town, I've heard many concerns relating to the courts taking over our zoning, which happened in Englewood Cliffs. Again, let's address the fear with some facts. The fact is that our situation is patently different. Nonetheless, there's actually a lot to learn about the process if we delve into the details. Here are the facts. They went to trial in August 2019 after not reaching a settlement with Fair Share. The court found that they had acted in bad faith to avoid compliance. 6 months later, the judge ordered them to build a 600-unit site and draft a compliant plan in 90 days. After they again refused to comply, the judge stripped them of their zoning rights in April 2020. Another 6 months later, in October 2020, Englewood Cliffs settled with Sylvan, the builder who brought suit. In this agreement, the 600-unit site was actually reduced to 450 units. What's the takeaway? For the court to take over our zoning, there would need to be a long, protracted trial, the results of which are not guaranteed. In fact, Fair Share expressly acknowledged that they were settling because it ends delays and results more quickly in the construction of homes. To be clear, Fair Share does not want this outcome, and neither do we. Here's our solution. One of the most problematic parts of the settlement agreement is the disparity of densities in various overlay zones. Based on our analysis, we could equalize the densities to 15 units an acre across the board, with an exception of 20 units an acre in OR1, the zone across from the Short Hills Mall where the Hilton is. Alternatively, if we set all densities to 16 and OR1 to 25, then we could even drop the ill-fated and contentious DPW project. Both proposals address more of our unmet need and are even more constitutionally compliant than the existing agreement. In the binding opinion of the Englewood Cliffs decision, the court states, the affordable housing obligation is not site-specific. Rather, that obligation is borough-wide. Accordingly, if we implement either of these alternatives, the burden of proof for why our proposal is not constitutionally compliant will fall on Fair Share if it goes to trial. Fair Share cannot justify this legal inconsistency, and it is clear that we would be acting in good faith. Again, they do not want it to go to trial. Bringing these proposals to the judge is how we get back to the negotiating table. This is how negotiating ought to be done, and it is how we can reach the best outcome for our community. Thank you.